As I say, we are gathered here at the river, and this is the river, the Rio Grande, and about 40 yards that way on a very peaceful bank is the country of Mexico. We are currently in the edge of the United States, and I thought this would be a good place to come and basically kick off my journeys over the next few years. What I will be doing is spending a fair amount of time traveling between countries, getting to explore the countries, the people, the food, the cultures, all kinds of things. But I wanted to reflect back a bit on the past, my past, and how that projects into the future a little bit. So if you'll bear with me, I've kind of gotten into the Christmas mood here a bit, as the last few days I've been listening almost nonstop Christmas music. Turns out I have almost 1,200 Christmas songs in my playlist, all pre-recorded fortunately. And it's only another week or so before we actually have Christmas Day. So this is kind of a seasonal thing and a reflection of my thoughts, kind of random. I don't think this is the kind of video I'm going to be doing many of. Put things in kind of perspective, both my travels and my life and things like that. It's kind of a stream of consciousness. There's a lot of people right now in our country, I would say, I'd like to say thousands, but it's probably millions, who would like to come along here and bulldoze this whole section and put a wall, lock off what's over there, the poor, the dirty, quote, disease-ridden, basically to hem us in, keep all the bad out of the country. Well, I've been pretty fortunate in my life. I have a business, moderately successful, and it's afforded me a number of pleasures in the last decade. One is the ability to travel, not as much as I plan on doing coming years, but I've traveled to Europe and to Asia a number of times. And every time I go, I learn things. I learn things about who we are as a people. I learn things about myself. I learn things that are good. I learn things that, well, it isn't always sunny. One of the big things I've learned, both being in business, worldwide business, is global. I've learned that I couldn't be here at this moment, at this time, this location, without the support of tens of millions of people spread around the globe. People I will never meet, I will never see, I will never be able to thank them. People that I can only appreciate from afar through my imaginations in terms of all the things that have to come together for me to be here. People who make the vans, the people who make all the wood that I put in the van, the people who build the machinery to make the things that I need, the people who pave the roads, the people who stock the grocery shelves, the people who drill oil so they can produce petroleum to put in my tank so that I can drive, the people who weave the material for the clothes I wear, people who sew the clothes. All these people around the world, no matter where we are, contribute to me being right here, right now. And I've been a part of that. I've been blessed to be a part of that, actually. I've been extremely fortunate to be a part of that. I've gotten to travel to countries and sit down with engineers who don't speak my language, who I don't have a lot in common with in terms of my culture, other than the fact that we work together. And we work together because it's in both of our interests. They want me to produce a good product because it helps them. I want them to help me produce a good product because it's shared responsibility. And yet we live in a country where many people want to build walls, not tear them down. They want to create a conflict where none needs to exist. And it's a sadness. It's a sadness for me. I want to travel. I want to see things, meet people, learn things. We live in a great country. We've had great leaders over the years. Our founding fathers are well known by all of us. They're taught in our history books, but they weren't perfect people. Thomas Jefferson once wrote in the preamble to the Declaration of Independence, "These truths are self-evident. All men are created equal." It's a pretty heady phrase if you think about it. But what strikes me even more than the phrase itself is the dichotomy of the man behind it. Here's a man who penned a phrase sitting at the top of his mountain outside of Charlottesville, Virginia, surrounded by hundreds of slaves, ready to do his every bidding at his whim. And in the midst of all that, he pens poetry. At the same time, he's standing in a quagmire of immorality. There's no moral justification for owning people, enslaving them, but here we are. Some of the greatest words in our shared history, but there's a bigger meaning to me because they kind of shed a light, not on where we are, but where we want to be, individually and hopefully collectively. There are many people who have taken those words to heart. They've rallied around them. They give them meaning. They give them additional freedoms, and that's a good thing. Walls don't do that. They don't connect us. They don't keep out the bad. A wall here won't stop a plague. It won't unite us. It won't do much of anything other than make us miserable. The Wall of China, Great Wall in China didn't work that well. The Berlin Walls come up and gone down. Didn't work. The militarized zone and between North Korea and South Korea will one day vanish. These are fundamentals. These are the things that, when life moves on, we learn to build bridges, hopefully. We live in a world now that is more dependent upon each other than ever in our entire history. I fly from here to Asia in 12 hours, do my business, fly home. And it's cheap, it's fun, and that's a world I love. There's a lot of reasons I travel. I like the food of different countries. I like to see and meet the people. I like to learn a little bit about the culture, where they came from. And it may seem surprising, when I travel, I learn more about me, who I am, what I am, why I am. I travel generally solo because it doesn't give me a filter to see things through. I'm alone, I'm exposed, just me and the culture I'm in. And often, I've walked streets of Shanghai and remote areas of the town where there isn't a person like me, looks like me, anywhere. I don't speak Chinese. I certainly don't look Chinese, not with a beard and a big guy, but I often feel at ease. And one of the things I do when I travel is I go to the plazas or a mall or places where the locals gather, families gather, parents and their children and grandparents all gathering together, either shopping or doing things. And I grab a coffee, I sit in the corner at a table, and I watch, sometimes for a few minutes, sometimes for a few hours. I just watch. I watch the way we interact with each other, families do. It tells me a lot. It tells me a lot about a culture. And yeah, we have our differences, but everywhere I go, no matter how poor, how rich, how developed or undeveloped, families still believe in family. Parents work hard, often brutal jobs, to keep food on the table, get the kids educated, always with a dream that their kids will live a better life than they will. I think these are universal. I've never gone anywhere that I haven't seen this reflected. There are more things that bind us than divide us. There's more hope for the future if we let it be. I'm hoping that in the next few years we'll see some reconciliations both in this country, but I hope for our sake that we find a way. We owe it to our children and our grandchildren and those that follow. This is one world. We all breathe the same air. We watch the same sunrise in the morning and the moon rise at night. The same stars circle overhead. When something happens over there, plagues travel at the speed of jet. We're on this together, but I'm hopeful. Maybe there's no cause to be, but I am. Maybe it's just because this is the season. I'm looking forward. There's a dream I have of driving down to the end of South America. And as old as I am, as many years as I've gone through, the many successes and failures I have, I'm chasing that dream. Because without that, I don't know what's left. It's just a few thoughts of an old man who probably doesn't know a whole lot, sitting by a river on a sunny day. Wish you a Merry Christmas.